Monster. Level 8 upgrade. Hey guys, and we are back with yet another upgrade for Monster. Like the last one, how we did the front RPM shock tower, we are now doing the rear RPM shock tower. Like I said in the last video, I ended up getting these at my local hobby shop. Yeah, let's get these installed. Alright, to open this, all you gotta do is pop the tab. Just like so. We don't have to cut it open or anything. We can pull out the front shock tower, which it looks amazing. And stickers, and then the packaging. Alright, so now let's work on getting this installed. Alright, so since I have the spare tire rack, it's going to make it a little bit more difficult to get to the rear. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove the spare tire rack and the rear bumper first, and that there it's held on with 6 screws. 1 over here, and 2 down here, and it's the same on the other side. 6 screws removed, the spare tire rack and the rear bumper come right on off. Now we can get these 4 screws that hold the rear body mount and the bracket for the spare tire rack. Alright, with the 4 screws backed out, this stuff comes right on off. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove these 2 wires that go from the ESC to the motor. Next up, what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove the 2 screws that hold the shocks in place. Lastly, what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove the 4 screws that hold the shock tower to the chassis. There is 2 on this side, and there's 2 on the back side. Alright, with the 4 screws removed, the shock tower comes right off. And finally, we can get to these 2 screws that hold the camber links in place. Alright, with that, guys, the shock tower is free. And now we can compare the difference. As you guys can first see, like always, the RPM is slightly more bulkier looking. The walls seem a lot more thick compared to the ones from Traxxas. Not to mention, well, first off, it's RPM plastic. And the thing about RPM parts is they look so much better. Like compare Traxxas to RPM. I don't know why, I just love the look of the RPM one. It just looks so sleeker, if that word is used right. Alright, so it's just a reverse order, so let's get this installed. Alright, first off, what we gotta do is gotta take the camber links, put them into position, and put the 1 screw down that holds each of them in place. Alright, next up what I'm going to do is I'm going to screw in the 4 screws that hold the shock tower in place. There's 2 right here at the base of the chassis, and 2 in the transmission box. Next up what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the shock towers and put in the 1 screw that holds the shocks in place. Next up what I'm going to do is I'm going to feed the ESC wires through the shock tower, and then I'm going to plug the motor into the ESC. Next up what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the rear body mount and this little bracket piece, and I'm going to slide it right on in front of the shock tower and screw down these 4 screws. Alright, next up we can now put the rear bumper and spare tire rack back in place, and it is held on with 6 screws. 2 down here and 1 up here, and it is the same on the other side. Here is before, and here is after, guys. Check it out. Now I have both front and rear RPM shock towers. Now I can take jumps and not have to worry about freaking destroying them. I gotta say, I really am liking just how that looks. I mean, it looks good. I mean, it's got that nice sleek look. It's got RPM plastic, so it's a lot more sturdy. I'm just overall happy with it. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you next time. And that was Monster's Level 8 upgrade.